Good morning everyone and welcome to the Whiteboat Studio once again. Another fabulous day in Bulgaria. Today's video is going to be quite a short one. The last one I did of the crab fleet here was a two-hour video, so anybody that watched to the end, thank you very much. The one that I'm doing today is really about what you can do with a painting that well, not everybody's paintings turn out every time as nice as they would like, and there's a few things that you can do. One you could do is to get a lighter and set fire to them. I've heard of people that have parties where the artists get together with all their paintings that they're not happy with and exchange paintings and have a bonfire with anything that's left over, which sounds a pretty good idea to me. Anyway, today is about what to do with the painting that you're not happy with. This is one that I did in 2011, and it kind of, I don't know, it never really did it for me. So I'm going to show you a little technique that will either go fabulously or disastrously wrong. There seems to be no middle ground. The first thing to do is to look at the painting and see if there's anything that you want to retain. Now, here for instance, I like this area of sky, so I'd quite like to retain that, and I quite like what's happening down here with this tree, although I think it needs some highlights on there. But this turned out to be really dirty and muddy. I think I was going through an indigo phase at the time. Anyway, so we'll try and do something about it. I'm probably going to try and alter this side of the painting and maybe the bottom here, but try and retain this and this. I'm going to put something here and something here. Now, this is a technique that I got from an Australian artist called John Lovett, and I'm a self-taught artist and I'm an avid reader and nowadays watcher on YouTube of instructional videos, but in the old-fashioned days, these are John Lovett's books, Getting Started, and a DVD called Splashing Paint. And I know John's basically a mixed media artist, and I know he uses this technique quite a lot. I know that from watching his videos. Now, what I'm basically going to do is to put some addition of white on here. Now, if you use either white watercolour paint, this is Tintoretto from Italy, and this is gouache. Both of these are water soluble, so basically if you put them onto your painting you can do some lifting off. But today we're going to go for it with this, which is called Gesso, and it's not very forgiving, let's just say that. And basically it's like a white emulsion, so I'm going to white emulsion both of these, and it sounds fairly horrific, and it will either go well or it will go badly. I guess you'll be the judge of that, and you might like to let me know in your comments which one you prefer. So this is the before, and at the end of the video there'll be an after. Now, the first thing that you've got to bear in mind is that it goes on with a very hard edge, so you've got to be prepared with some dry brushes. These are Hakes, Ron Ransom Hakes, that I've cut down when I was travelling to Asia, which is sacrilege, I know, but I've got another full set of the full length ones. So I'm going to, on my towel, I'm going to use that to make sure that when I blend these edges out, that they want to feather in so you don't see any brush marks. So I'm just going to go for it. As I say, it'll go either well or badly. I guess if it goes badly, you'll never get to see this video on YouTube. So basically what we need to do, it's quite a warm day today, so I haven't got much time. So I'm going to take one section at a time. I'll probably start with the bottom section, and then if it goes horribly wrong, I'll know not to carry on. So clean water, and this is just an inch and a half flat brush. This painting was done in 2011, so this is going to be pretty hard dry, and it never sold. You can see I'm disturbing that pigment now. the first mistake. And basically you just splosh some of this on. And then you spread it around. What's the panic? We've got a fly in there. Get rid of that. And just splosh it around. I'm going to take it up to that area where it's... I can hear you all gasping. Now I'm going to be careful to retain this area of the sky here. Now really quickly, I'm going to wet my hake brush and then dry it off on this. And I want to try and feather back into this gesso. So all it's doing is it's disturbing the pigment underneath and redistributing it. You can see it's granulating there. You've got to keep sure you keep washing your brush out, but then drying it really well on the towel. And you can see it's getting the soft edge now. It does dry lighter, so you will still be able to see some of the painting underneath, but we need to try and make sure that we lose this hard edge just here. There's me going over the area I wanted to keep. So I'm going to let that dry before I start this effort up here. You can see how quickly that happened within about a minute. So I'm going to let that dry naturally now, and then we'll come back to it and do the top half of the painting and see what we've got left, if anything. Okay, welcome back. That part's dried now. So I've cleaned my water. I'm just going to do exactly the same with the top, but this time I won't splodge quite as much on. Otherwise all we'll be left with is so this time I'm taking it out of the pot. Surprised how this paint is still being disturbed after all this time. That's been on there for 6 years. If you get a hard edge like this, just soften it with water. So we're looking for, it gives lots of atmospheric effects. So back with my dry hake, just to feather into it to try and lose that edge. And then finally just wipe around the border with a sea sponge or some tissue. It just happens to be handy. And once again we'll let that dry and I'll show you what to do with it from there. Okay, the top half's dry now. I don't know if you can see that. It's a lot more atmospheric. But what you do is you knock part of the painting back with the gesso, and now it's time to try and get it back. Now if you were to use watercolour, I'll just put some of this on so you can see. This is just this kind of purple colour that was in the background. And you'll see it kind of beads on the surface. It doesn't go through to the paper anymore. So there is a solution to that. Just tidy up that bottom edge. And the solution to that is to use more opaque things over the top. So that would include things like watercolour pencils, or you could use charcoal, or you could use pastels, which these are chalk pastels, not oil pastels. So I'm going to try a little bit of that on here. So let's try and get some of this back. And mix this with some purple. And you can see now that does take on top of the gesso, so it becomes a mixed media painting. And then to get some of those highlights back, I use the watercolour pencils. So let's have this fence disappearing off into the background. And let's lift out some highlights on this tree. And now I think you can see from that it's a completely different painting now. And the worst thing that you can do is throw it away. But as I've already written it off anyway, then what's the worst thing that can happen? Just to give you a little bit of background, I know that people struggle with watercolour painting. I did when I first started to do it, but this is where I came from. This was with a very fine mapping pen, and because I think what happens is when you start to draw or paint, you end up trying to control every single movement that you make. And these drawings, this is actually, it's a photocopy, but this is actual size, used to take me about 50 hours. And there was no joy in it, it was just a labour of love with the very finest mapping pens. And it's a lot more pleasurable now to be painting in a lot looser style. It was good to get me into, you know, to understand light and shade, but I'm sure you'll agree that we've moved on a little bit even from there to even here in 2011. So I hope that gives everybody encouragement out there, and get the gesso out and have some fun with it. Bye for now. And don't forget to like, comment or subscribe on my YouTube videos. There'll be lots more to come this year. I've got a brand new HD camera and I'm like a boy in a sweet shop. So you'll be seeing lots more from me. Hopefully, if I ever sort out the technology. This morning should have been my first live presentation, and I've had some technical issues where cameras, microphones don't talk to computers. So if anybody tuned in, I apologise. And I won't do it again until I've sorted out the technology. So if there's anybody out there that understands these kind of things, please get in touch. Okay, bye. If you want to make a donation, by the way, you can do so via PayPal, artstevo@gmail.com, securely on PayPal, or you can go to www.patreon.com. The last one was a labour of love. I spent all night downloading the video and babysitting it to make sure it didn't crash. So if anybody watched the Crab Fleet, then hopefully you enjoyed it. Who knows? Maybe I need some gesso on here and here. Maybe I should just leave things alone. Hope you enjoyed it and hope it helped. So don't give up on the paintings that you've written off. Bye. And this was the finished painting with a mount over it. Hope you like it. Don't forget to tune into the Whiteboat Studios next time. Bye for now.